Welcome to another edition of Night Shift, top secret information brought to you by ghostbed.com/and. This is the show where political commentator and comedian, social media influencer with 1.45 million across the board, conservative aunt and former special operations veteran and podcast host Eric Tansey dive down the rabbit hole, exploring all things conspiracy theories for the entire year, taking us up through mid-2024. Today, we have a very special guest to talk about the Canada-American censorship conspiracy. That's harder to say than you would think. But joining us today from, I don't know, Albuquerque, Canada, Berta Proud Dad.
Aspen, Alberta, Canada.
Aspen, Canada. Berta Proud Dad.
Aspen. You want to go to Aspen? Alberta, Canada.
Alberta, Canada. Berta Proud Dad from Alberta, Canada. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Thanks.
Conservative Ant, how are you this morning, sir?
You never cease to amaze me, Tansey. I mean, I thought he was from Springfield, and then he told me Toronto, and then it was Alberta. So we really don't know the lay of the land in Canada, but
it's all a conspiracy.
What is gayer, Canada or conservative Ant?
It's a mixture of both. There's a lot of very limp-wristed people in Canada. Trust me, I know. If you go to Montreal, it's very, whoa, you know what I mean?
We actually had a fan.
The Prime Minister is very, whoa.
Ant and I had mentioned Canada in one episode. I can't even remember which episode one. We've only done like 8. But I guess I mentioned Canada in something, and I got a long message from somebody in Canada that said, stop spreading Canadian. I can't even say Canada. But anyway, could you stop spreading Canadian misinformation on your podcast?
They were definitely from the east coast of Canada. 100%.
Like, the fuck?
Okay. But what is that even like? When have we really dove in?
The only thing I can think of is I said, because he mentioned in the message that we do not force our kids to get vaccinated. And I said that my kids were going to do a skateboard contest, but I didn't really want to do it because I didn't, at the time, they had like a vaccine mandate.
Absolutely.
To get in the country. And that's all I said. I don't know if it applied to the kids or not, but like, I'm not going to do a skateboarding contest. I can do a million skateboard contests in the United States and not have to worry about it. So
yeah,
Canada during COVID, maybe you guys don't realize this. You needed a vax pass to do anything.
Really?
You needed a vax pass to go to the grocery store. You needed a vax pass to go to a restaurant. You needed a vax pass. I sat in the food court standing up with an invisible fence because the people I was with were vaxxed. I stood beside them, but I couldn't go into the food court because of that.
But you didn't get vaxxed?
I don't discuss my vaccine status. I never have.
Oh, I'm not vaxxed. I'm not vaxxed, and I am waxed.
You got waxed?
No, that was a lie. I just rhymed.
I have done that
today. I wrote that Christmas poem, and now
I've done that before. It's not as bad as everybody says, but so I'm super glad that I had you on today because you and I were talking off camera earlier today, and we're just kind of digging into the fact that it's so hard to get information as Americans from other places like Canada, Australia, the UK, and you had said the same thing. So tell me a little bit about how it is for you to get your news in Canada for like the American news. What kind of steps do you have to go through?
All right. Well, first of all, Canada News is designed in a way to tell us about Canada and basically designed to get us to hate Donald Trump. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you on that one, right? So Canadians frame Donald Trump exactly like the Democrats in the United States. We're ran by a liberal government, right? And we've been censored hard when it comes down to social media. Social media has blocked American creators, American news agencies, and things like that. So for me, in order to follow conservative ant right now, I don't need to use a VPN, but that is coming. That is absolutely coming, right? For me to do that. Now, for me to CNN is free in Canada. I want to mention that as well. I can get CNN. It comes with every major cable package. It doesn't cost you any money. It costs me $7.49 a month if I want to watch Fox News.
Wow, that's insane.
Yes, CNN is pushed to me for free. And in every major hotel room you go to in this country, and I travel for work, I travel all over this country. I live out of hotels. When you click on the TV, the first channel that comes up 80% of the time is CNN News Channel.
Oh my God.
Wow.
People don't know that.
How do the people respond to that in Canada? Like, how do they feel about that? Are Canadians good with it?
The majority of Canadians are good with internet censorship because we Canadians are pussies. Okay. And I will be perfectly honest with you. I was part of the Freedom Convoy in Ottawa.
Wow.
And we had a couple 100,000 people, descend on Ottawa and stay there. I spent 7 weeks. I traveled across the country twice because I had to come home for an engagement, but I spent 7 weeks in Ottawa where I was pepper sprayed, where I was batoned, where my bank account was shut down and by my own government. And what happened in Ottawa with social media was everybody could see what was going on, right? You didn't have to turn on your Canadian news channel to do that. And what they did after that is they brought in a bill through legislation that basically said we are going to moderate Canadian content, and that includes Canadian content creators like myself. I had 270,000 followers on TikTok. My account was removed. Gone.
Wow.
Gone within two days of that coming out. I lost my account. You can't tell me that that's not related.
Well,
right?
Related, but
so for me to go get American content, I have to pay for it. And you got to remember, we're being fed CNN propaganda daily on our. It's given to us for free. It pops up in every single ad. So it's funny where we're blocked by American news agencies except CNN.
So are you able to stream like Newsmax or OAN or any of the other right-wing American news stations too? You would have to pay for those as well, right?
So Rebel News, right? Rebel News, which a lot of people follow for Canadian content.
I do, yeah.
I am blocked from watching them. And I'm Canadian.
Why?
Figure that out. Exactly. And that's not 100% across the board either. That's not 100% because my neighbor can watch Rebel News, but I can't watch Rebel News. Is it because I'm Berta Proud Dad that I can't watch Rebel News?
So do you feel that you were put on some type of list because you were on the convoy?
I was labeled a domestic terrorist.
You were, for sure, fact.
Yes.
So
100%.
That was your January 6th, by the way.
Yes. So the Freedom Convoy was our January 6th. And you want to know what weapons I brought to Ottawa? Absolutely nothing. I brought my voice to practice freedom of speech. And I was pictured. I had to have been put on a list. And the reason I can say this is fact is my bank account was frozen.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Right?
That is so. I would never, ever go to another bank if I were you. I would just.
We did. We switched.
I would just have cash all the time. I would stop dealing with it.
And that's not the only thing that happened. On my website, I also sell, like many people do, merchandise. They shut down my Moneris services. My credit card processing on my website got shut down. So nobody could go to my website and purchase anything either. And I didn't know that for about 4 days.
So that's complete control, Tansy. I mean, what else would that be?
No, I mean, that's I couldn't.
Totalitarian.
I mean, I think it's bad enough here that like we have what's going on in Colorado and California taking, one of our candidates off of a ballot and not giving us the right to vote. And I've already said my Tanstradamus prediction was that that will lead to a civil war if they withhold Trump from there, because over 50% of Americans voted for Trump. He won the majority vote and just lost the electoral college. So, it's pretty safe to say that over 50% of Americans support Donald Trump. So, that will be our civil war. And I think the government knows that, and they tread lightly. They just kind of like teeter on the verge, but it's only going to take one disgruntled veteran or one disgruntled anyone to throw one Molotov cocktail, and then everybody's going to follow suit. And that's scary. I don't want to live in a world like that. I don't want to be like Northern Ireland was for 70 whatever years it was that they did all that stuff in Ireland. I don't want that to happen. But I cannot imagine if you told me, if you froze my bank account, I would spend the rest of my life trying to go back old school. I'd be like mailing out bills again and writing checks again. No, we're not writing checks. I'd be sending cash. And if we couldn't do it, then I just wouldn't do it.
Well, here's the thing.
Did you know it's hard? They don't even distribute checks in Canada anymore.
What?
Like I if I want to go and get checks from my bank, to get 5 checks will cost me $125.
Holy shit, mine are free.
Yeah, mine are free with my Chase account.
I think I get like 30 checks a month for free or something like that.
Yeah, and you never even need that because and here's the thing is I know that I understand where you're coming from because I have talked to and interviewed many different people that were involved in January 6th. Now, when I say involved, I'm talking about people that didn't even go into the Capitol. They literally stood way in the back, didn't do anything but maybe hold up a sign and had their bank accounts also frozen, taken down, their Venmo accounts, their PayPal accounts, their Cash App accounts, all of the things taken down just because they were there. They occupied the Capitol that day. So I think that it's really scary that, you can't, and this is why they set this up. I believe, this is my personal opinion, this isn't misinformation or fact, but I believe, in my opinion, is January 6th set the precedent for the entire world for all governments to be like, we got them. Because now they can't revolt against us, whether it be with their mouth or anything else, because it's an automatic insurrection. So it makes citizens across the world, quote unquote, scared to go out because they don't want their bank accounts shut down. They're barely making ends meet as it is worldwide. So they don't want these things to happen, be put on a list and no flight log, all that stuff. So how has this affected you so far? So your bank account was shut down. You were able to open up another bank account. What are some other things that you've noticed over the period?
So basically how I got through that period, my bank account was basically shut down for a period of 10 days. How I got through that is mommy and daddy, right? How else do you do that? Right? Sure. Like, what do you do? I'm not a broke man. I'm a family man. I got bills. I got shit to do, but I'm also in Ottawa at the time. Right. Mm. So what do you do? And there was ways around that too. I own businesses and they didn't get after a couple of those accounts. And my wife has her own bank accounts too. Right. So there was ways around it, but to go in and take somebody's bank account, right? Could you imagine? I know single moms who weren't even in Ottawa, who donated to the Freedom Convoy, who had their bank accounts frozen. Single moms who just donated. They weren't even in Ottawa. So how does that affect somebody? How do you move on from that, right? And what that did to me is I have very, very, very limited, I don't want to say respect, because I do respect law enforcement, but confidence. Mm-hmm. I watched my own law enforcement officers in my country who have an oath, right? Come to the Capitol and stand there and shoot a woman in the face with a rubber bullet. I watched that. The lady was 10 people away from me. I watched a police horse, an RCMP, trample an elderly lady who was about 15 feet away from me with a horse. Law enforcement doing this. So you start questioning, who does law enforcement protect? Do they protect the people, or are they protecting the government? And the Royal Canadian Mounted Police has showed that day that they protect government over people. And that's scary. That's scary.
Is different in Canada than it is in the United States, because we don't, I guess, is policing in Canada federal?
Yes, so we have the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, which is our federal
Right.
police force, and then
Right.
each individual city, large cities, they have their own police forces. And the funny thing is we were on federal land in Ottawa, but we had Calgary City Police, Edmonton City Police, Vancouver City Police, Montreal City Police. We had city police forces leaving their jurisdictions to come to Ottawa because you got to remember, Canada, Justin Trudeau invoked the Emergencies Act, which used to be called the War Measures Act, and in the United States would be called martial law.
Right. I mean, that's common here in the United States too. Like, we could get called to, like when I was I was a Raleigh police officer for 8 years, or almost 8 years. You could get called to Charlotte and be sworn in for the day in Charlotte to help out with the protests. So we do that here too. And it stretches your jurisdiction. But my question is, are there, like, I know that in America, like our cops are pretty divided 50-50. Like I run a police podcast, and I've talked to hundreds of cops, and it's like split down the middle. Like there's a lot of cops that are like, dude, I'm not fucking enforcing anything. Like I know that the Raleigh SWAT guys, like I talked to several of them and they were like, if it's not constitutional, we're not doing it. And they put their foot down. Is that like
yes, it is. It is split. And I'm going to give you a perfect example of this because it's going into through the courts right now in Canada. Ottawa City Police Officer. Ottawa's our capital city. That's where these protests were held.
Right.
There's an Ottawa City Police Officer right now in court because Ottawa City Police is charging them, right? Because they came out and questioned vaccine injuries. The police officer came out and questioned vaccine injuries. Ottawa City Police is charging them, and it was just told to us on basically misinformation and abuse of power, using their power as a police officer as a voice kind of deal, like a representative of the police force, right? Because apparently he was in uniform and all this other stuff when this happened.
That doesn't even exist here in the United States.
This is tyranny. We live in tyranny in Canada. We have a tyrannical. Justin Trudeau is literally a communist.
He looks literally, like though, you know,
he's literally a communist. But this police officer is being charged, and it just came out on Friday that they are not allowed to have any witnesses on their defense. But the Crown, which is the federal government, and Ottawa City Police, who are charging them, have hundreds of witnesses. They have no defense. Does he become a
martyr? Is it like a martyr stitch? Like, do other Canadians, like, is there a Canadian Revolution? Like, do you guys go and march?
There was. It was called the Freedom Convoy, and what happened is we lost. We lost. They took people's bank accounts. They batoned us. They pepper sprayed us. They put people in prison. We still have, I think, 5 guys in prison right now.
Yeah.
Right, right now, like the Irish Civil War guys, when when the Brits took over Northern Ireland, they starved themselves. They did what did the IRA guys do in Northern Ireland? They did they stopped eating. I don't know what you call that.
The hunger strike.
The hunger strike, and like 4 out of the fucking 10 of them, or 4 out of the 12 of them died because they
They're not see in this situation. They're not going to give a fuck if you don't eat. I
mean, they did give a fuck because they were in prison, and like the whole world was watching.
Got it.
So what happens there, right? So these 5 men that are in prison right now, they're hated because guess what the news media has done to them, right? They've just like what happened with January 6th. They've characterized these guys as the villains. Right. What the government always does this. They take their opposition, they villainize them, and they convince the population that they're the bad guys. And when you have a communist that's running this country, and Justin Trudeau, who has no problem making single moms starve, who has no problem with giving $1 billion to his friends, because that just came out, you don't care. Because all you're doing is villainizing your opponent, your political opponent, because technically the Freedom Convoy was politically motivated. Right? Because we were looking for change in government. And when you villainize your political opponent, that right there is, well, that's fascism, right? When you try to take your political opponent to prison and you try to take them down, that's literal fascism. And what people don't understand, Canada is not this peaceful nation that we once were. We're pissed off. We are watching, veterans die in our streets. We're watching, what's going on in the United States. And this is how I equate it is, how like when you're with your aunt who can't drive, you know what I mean? And you're fucking terrified and you're sitting in the back seat. That's what we are right now. Joe Biden's driving this car and I'm that little child in the back seat fucking, what's going on? Like, fuck, where are we going to go? And I was a lot more comfortable when Trump was driving. Do you know what I mean? Because everything you guys do affects me.
Why do you think Canada hates Trump so much? Like, what does Trump have to do with anything in Canada? Like, why are Canadians so invested? Why is Trudeau so invested in hating Trump so much?
Because, well, so Trudeau is a very weak leader. He's literally laughed at on the world stage, right? We've seen this in many summits that he's gone to. Donald Trump brushed him off. When he was there, Donald Trump even called him out as a weak leader. And in Canada, it's no different than the United States. It's like asking, why is the United States so divided? Mainstream news media, right? The same thing happens up here. Mainstream news labels Donald Trump as this criminal, as they still talk about him as a rapist. They identity politics is what it boils down to, right? Whereas you got a guy like me, and I'll be perfectly honest, I'm not a big fan of Donald Trump and the shit he does, but at the end of the day, I love Donald Trump as a president of the United States. I absolutely love him and adore him as a president of the United States, because when I go and vote and elect my leader, I look at what they're capable of doing, not what they've done in their personal life. That's got nothing to do with me, right? And so Canada, we're softies, man. We always have been. What's up, eh? You know what I mean? Like we literally are soft people, and we're easily manipulated to believe the mainstream narrative, especially since mainstream news agencies have idolized their news anchors and created them actors on TV shows.
I guess my big question here would be, guys like you that did the Freedom Caucus, if you're going to take the L, if you're going to take the loss, why not fucking just come to the United States and be done with it?
Oh, Albuquerque
That's a
might be nice.
Question.
Hey, Albuquerque.
Maybe you don't want to
go. So it's funny about what's funny about that is Alberta's the Texas of Canada. That's what they call us. There's oil fields here. There's mountains here. There's rednecks here. We love guns. We love freedom. Alberta is even chastised by our own federal government, where our premier, which is the equivalent of a governor in the United States, our premier is at war almost daily with the prime minister of this country, saying, no, you're not doing that. No, you're not doing that, to the point that we even passed the Alberta Sovereignty Act, which we're pushing to become sovereign from the federal government. We're pushing.
Wow.
We're pushing
I didn't know that.
Absolutely. We're pushing to say it's a big fuck you to Ottawa. Because what people don't know is we have vast resources in Alberta, and we basically pay for the rest of the country, right? Through our tax dollars.
A lot like Texas. That's a lot like Texas.
Exactly. Yeah. We're the Texas of Canada. And I've been looking at moving to Texas, my wife and I, looking to get out of Canada. But then our premier said, hey, we're going to do this Alberta Sovereignty Act. So now I'm curious. So now do I fight for Canada like I did in the Freedom Convoy, or do I switch it up and start fighting for Alberta?
Oh,
I hear that. What was that, Eric?
I said I'd go all in on Alberta, baby, dude. Like, I feel like I want to get an Alberta t-shirt right now.
Yeah, I feel like
I'll send you one.
There you go. If you wanted to come to the United States, I hear that refugees are getting free cell phones, free housing, tons of money. You can always dress up like a liberal and just roll across the border.
I thought of that, Ant. I actually thought that I would literally just walk across the border. I might, and I might be very flamboyant and liberalish.
Yeah, dye your hair.
And walk. Absolutely. And walk across the border, and they ask me, do you know Conservative Ant? I'll be like, I have no clue who that is. Because as soon as I say that we're buddies, they wouldn't fucking let me in. Right?
You're friends with this guy named Liberal Ant. I don't know.
Liberal Ant is my homeboy. He's so liberal. But, I heard that. And that's the other thing they're telling us in Canada.
Oh, my God.
We don't understand is you're getting $5,000. These guys are getting $5,000. You guys are giving your country away. What's going on?
Oh, dude. That's a whole
it's coming
other
to
situation.
That's coming to an end because all the big cities, New York, their governor is like done with it.
Chicago
governor's fucking done with it. Texas, speaking of which, Austin, Texas, they're done with it. Like they already started fucking like nuking homeless camps and shit, like literally set them on fire underneath the overpass.
Yeah.
Down. Like I think it's like that shit's coming to a head here in the United States. I think everybody's over the border crisis. It's crushing Biden in the polls. And yeah, the only thing I see about the United States right now is that there's so many people that are already at the edge that I'm no longer worried. Like I'm almost like, go ahead, guys, keep poking us because it's about to pop off. They need to know that. And there's way more people on the side of we want our country back than this liberal woke leftist bullshit. I mean, already comedians are starting to use the word retard again. You're hearing all sorts of shit. Like people are they're fucking done with all of the bullshit that we put up with the last 4 or 5 years. So
every third video I put out there, I use the word retard.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't mean, and listen, for people to get offended by that word, that means that you in your mind think that everybody who is whatever mentally challenged is a retard. I don't look at that word that way. I've always looked at that word as you're just dumb. Like, don't be a fucking retard. But woke people take it just like they take the gay words and they take the black words and they take all these things. They're like, oh, they're offensive. It's like, no, it's offensive because you're a fucking racist. You are the one, you woke piece of shit, that actually you are the one who sits back and you say, you grab people's hands and say, I am so sorry for all the oppression you go through to black people when you're white. Those are liberal people. And the black person's like, who the fuck is this bitch? Because they have white guilt. They have holier than thou attitudes. They think by them supporting the government, supporting the vaccine, I'm doing this to save you. No, motherfucker. You're doing this so you get fucking brownie points. I don't need your fucking brownie points.
Was that a racist? Brownie points? Was that a racist thing? Brown?
Yeah, absolutely. The liberals that love to listen to your show are going to be writing you letters now for the next fucking month because Ant said fucking brownies. But I do want to mention one key thing, because you talked about what's going on in the border, and I talked about it, and I want people to understand how I know this. Okay, I want you guys to understand how, as Americans, how I know what's going on your southern border. Yeah. It's because of people like Ant. It's not because of my mainstream news. They're not talking about it. They're not talking about it at all, right? It's because of people like Ant. And this is the power of social media. This is the power of podcasts. This is the power that people that need to understand. Turn your fucking television off. And start watching the people in those countries in municipalities and start learning about what's going on, because I know people are coming across the border in Texas because of a content creator on the internet, not because of CTV News or CBC News or any radio station. It's the content creators, and that's the power of social media. So when you talk about censorship in Canada and you talk about censorship in the United States, why are they censoring conservative creators? And there's your answer.
Because they don't want the truth out. And here's the thing. That word in the last 4 years, that misinformation bullshit fucking word, the reason why they're using it's misinformation, because it's misinformation to them. It's misinformation because why? Because the news didn't say it. Tansy and I did a whole episode where we talked about how across the entire board, every single media station literally reiterates the same exact script all across the United States. It's the same fucking script. So if Conservative Ann or Eric Tansey or Berta Proud Dad goes out and does a podcast or does a news thing, because we know what actually is happening down here, to tell you guys what's happening down here. Well, I'm the Canadian government. It's misinformation. Don't listen to them. This is you have to listen to CNN. Well, fuck you. We're not going to listen to CNN. We're not going to listen to Fox News. We're not going to listen to all these stations, because I know that you listen to Fox News. I have other stations for you to listen to too. if you want other American stations that you can stream.
Absolutely.
Fox News is right-wing propaganda. They are throwing out the same bullshit that CNN. It's the CNN of the right, and some of the hosts like Jesse Waters. I love Laura Ingraham. I mean, Greg Gutfeld. There's a lot of great media I guess they're media personalities, but journalists like Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson was a conspiracy theorist and a misinformation because he would sit on and have the highest fucking viewed news channel in the world. And when Ottawa was when the Freedom Convoy was Occupy Ottawa, he was the only one on TV in the world at night that says, let's go to, and he used to call it Ottawa because he used to pick on them.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, and he used to do a great segment in the opening monologue that would fucking destroy the entire left. They couldn't have that anymore. Fox is owned by Disney. Sorry to break it to you. They're owned by Disney. So guess what? Fox got rid of him because he's a conspiracy theorist. So I think you're dead on. I think we need to start listening to each other. And I think that's exactly what's going on. That's why they're fucking scared. That's
exactly why.
Funny enough, that's why we started Failure to Stop, the #1 podcast channel, like first of its kind channel, to inform and entertain first responders across the board. That's why we do 5 shows a week. We do society and culture. We do true crime. We do political news on Wednesdays, sports news on Fridays. And we created an entire news network with guys doing real, like, not journalists, right? We're all ex-first responders, Ann, but we're all like, what? Even at a C- student at best, first responder peasant, my journalism skills are 10 times better than any of these college nerds that are coming out reading a script and just writing a paragraph on something. Like, we're actually going out and getting the stories. We're actually reaching out to guys like Berta Proudad here to get the whole story. Like, Ant and I are more a journalist than half of these guys on CNN, Fox News. And you were talking about news sources and good journalists. There's a really great podcast. It's a podcast, even though it is left leaning, very left leaning, but it's called Breaking Points with Christian and Sagar. I basically fucking hate Crystal. I don't hate her. That was terrible. I don't agree with a lot of.
Tell us how you really feel. I like it.
Listen, I respect what Crystal and Sagar are doing. I really respect them. They are trying. She's just liberal. She's a bleeding heart liberal, but she reports the news very fairly, and Sagar does a very fair job, and it gives a very good total outlook. And look, they'll tell when it's a Trump win, they'll tell you it's a Trump win. They give you all the most pertinent updates.
See, I like that, though. I don't mind that. We're not looking to silence people on the left. We just want the left to admit that they also don't want the right silence, because one side is not right. One side is not more important than the other side. The only way shit's going to get done is if you have both thoughts. But you can't say that you are going to silence and stifle an entire mouthpiece of one side, and the left is able to interject their ideology and riddle and poison the entire country, the entire world, all pretty much free civilizations with this woke agenda that's in turn making it extremely fascistic, extremely fucking communistic, and extremely socialist. And it does not work. It is an ideology that poisons the minds of young Americans, young Canadians, young people all over the world. And unfortunately, Generation Z is, in my opinion, this is not fact, the worst generation, and the generation that is literally on the verge of destroying civilization as we fucking know it. Change my mind.
I don't know, man. They said my generation was the worst. And I always say that my generation volunteered to fight the longest running government sponsored war on the planet, and we didn't have to be drafted for it. Whereas like Vietnam, the boomer generation, like they had to be drafted because they were fucking on LSD and they were hippies and they were pussies. So I think Gen Z, though, my hope for Gen Z is that, like, I like how Gen Z is curious and interested in actually being real parents, trying to figure out how that is. I think it's just the generation. What's after millennials? Is that Gen Z?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so whatever the generation is after Gen Z is the one that I'm hopeful for. I think that like Gen Z was the one that was kind of lazy, selfish, not having kids, and I think everybody's starting to see how miserable that is, because there's a lot of they're all starting to hit like their 30s and 33s now, and all like those girls that wanted to be super feminists are now wanting to have kids, and they're kind of coming out on social medias. I've seen a bunch of that, so I am hopeful for the following generation. That's because we all learn from the former generation. So I have hope.
Well,
I have
in
hope.
Canada, I'm fucking terrified of Gen Z, because that's my kids' generation. But so I have kids in Gen Z, right? I have kids in there. My son's in fourth year university right now. Went into university a conservative and is now a liberal. Okay,
told you.
This is the university. Our school systems in Canada and the United States are absolute poison. Ant just said it best. It's poison. It poisons your mind. And that's what he is now. He's a literally full-blown liberal and has no problem with this country, Canada, who only has a population of 40 million people. That's all we have here, sending $10 billion to the Ukraine. My son has no problem with that. You can't talk him out of that. You can't say anything about that with that. He's not going to be like, oh, I'm pro. We gotta do it. And all that changed was he came out of a conservative household, raised as in a conservative values and beliefs, and went to university. That's all that's changed. So I'm terrified of these people having kids, because what does that look like?
The good news is they're not fucking having kids. That's what I'm trying to say. The only ones that are having kids are the ones that are like starting to kind of see it. But like, I just had a debate at I own a bar. I own a distillery and rum bar. I make rum. And there were some folks in there, and we had some really great conversations, but it shows you like how off the reservations they are. They're like, well, look, I've never listened to a podcast in my life. I think that podcasts are the downfall of America, and they're terrible. And I was like, which podcast do you listen to? I will not. I don't listen to podcasts. And I was like, so you've never listened to a podcast? I refuse. Well, how do you fucking know? Like, listen to a podcast versus mainstream radio. Like, you think those nerds making $13 an hour fucking talking on the radio know more than conservative Ant and I, who can say whatever we want and do whatever research we want? And
not you restricted by the FCC. Yeah.
She goes, well, okay, if I was going to get into podcasting, which one would you say start with? And I was like, I would say start with Joe Rogan. Like, he's the best. She's like, oh, Joe Rogan. See, that's why, because fuck Joe Rogan. I was like, okay, name
so in the middle.
She's like, all the shit that he says. Okay, say one thing that he says. Tell me one thing that Joe Rogan said. Well, I mean, he's just on the Trump chain. Oh, no. He hates Trump and refused to let Trump on his show. So strike one. Go. Well, I mean, it's just more that right-wing conservative. Nope, he's not right-wing conservative. He calls himself a Democrat. Like, he's all into welfare and abortion. And okay, so strike two. Keep going. Like, what do you not like about? Well, he used the N-word. Oh yeah, like 10 years ago in an educational setting, talking about what is so bad about the N-word and how did it get weaponized.
But first of all, if it's not used in I don't like that word either. But if it's not used in a derogatory sentiment, if you're not going up to somebody and just bashing them with one of these words, if you're explaining something to somebody, people need to get off of their fucking pussy train, and they need to really get it together.
If I went to trial and I had to read the quotes, I would have to say the whole N-word, because it's not like, stop weaponizing the word. You know what I'm saying? Like, just because I say the word, it doesn't make the walls crumble and fall down. Like, grow up, you know?
Do you know why she hates Joe Rogan? That's the success of destroying masculinity. That's literally, he's a masculine man. She doesn't even know what she's talking about. She hates Joe Rogan because he's a man. Let's just call it what it is.
Yeah,
they want to destroy that.
That, or she's just been told to hate him from propaganda media.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same reason I'm hated by a bunch of people, a bunch of men on the left who aren't masculine. It's because they look at me and they're like, "Oh, that's just a masculine man. He probably beats his wife." That's literally my comment section. I just explained it to you.
Yeah, and you know, it's so, and I'm, Eric knows this. My followers know this about me. I disassociate from the LGBT movement because I never understood the culture really. I don't understand men dressing up feminine. I don't get it. I have a lot of conservative LGBT friends that are makeup wearing dudes, and it's fine and it's all good and dandy. I just don't understand why men are now inhabiting women's spaces when you see a Sephora ad or you see a women's beauty ad,
Did we
and
just
it's
lose
all
everybody? We just lost Ant. Proud Dad. Nope, we lost everybody.
What?
No, I hear you.
I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here. He's not here. He's frozen.
Oh, he's not here.
Oh no.
Oh, that sucks. Hold on.
Well, he edits it. He's got to edit it.
Yeah. I don't know if he's going to be back or not.
I don't know what happened.
But and we'll just finish talking because we're here.
Are we back? Am I back?
It was you that was him, and I were still communicating.
Could you hear me?
You, then you left.
Oh, okay. It dropped us on the internet. Okay, we'll just keep going. That's at the 40:57 mark. Gotcha.
Okay. Right. But yeah, it's like you see all of these very feminine men taking over women's spaces, which that alone is like mind blowing to me. Why the feminist women wouldn't be pissed off that they've been saying men are bad, the toxic men are bad, men. And it's like, hey, bitch, sorry to tell you, but these dudes are putting on your shit, and now they're in ads and you're not. So you should be pissed about that. I don't understand the female men thing, the men being feminine thing. It's just not for me. But they want to ruin masculinity for the world. And I would never be the gay man that I am today without my masculine father. I would never be who I am today. You need to have that masculine presence in your life. I don't give a shit what you say. They want to ruin the nuclear family. They want it gone. They don't want it anymore. This is not what they want.
Best. You just said it best. They want to ruin the nuclear family. And that's the thing. And they think, somebody looks at me right away and they understand, they look at my value and belief system. They see that I'm a white conservative male and they automatically think that I hate gay people. Like, right. That's it right there. They automatically, society's full of labels. All right. They've done is labeled everybody with something. And how you do that is you brainwash a population. You take a weak population like Gen Z and you brainwash them into thinking that conservative white men hate gay people, and they believe it, and they absolutely believe it. It's disgusting.
Well, you know what's not disgusting, and you know what's a great label? GhostBed. Right now, GhostBed is offering 50% off for the holidays using the promo code ANT, A-N-T for Anthony. And guess what? They even ship to Ken and Anadia. We have a Canadian follower on Failure to Stop, and he said, man, I really like those ghost beds made in the good old USA. And he said, but how can I get the deal in Canada? I literally texted the owner of GhostBed. I screenshotted the message from the Canadian 8080, and they said, we'll make a new promo code for the Canadian 8080. And then the Canadian 8080 used that promo code and got the freaking discount. I think he even got free shipping to Canadian 8080, and he became an instant full-on GhostBed fan, and we put screenshots of his GhostBed. There you go. That's where Ant lays his head at night. He lays it on a GhostBed. Right now, 50% off. Do they have the cooling sheets? So if you get hot, like we do here in North Carolina or in
Florida,
those cooling sheets are going to keep you cool so you can stay hard while staying cool, baby. Go to ghostbed.com and use that promo code ANT, A-N-T, and get you sleep so good it's scary. Wait a minute, the holiday season's over, and I didn't get a gift in time. That's okay, because you know what's coming up? Valentine's Day. Get your lover or your intimate partner or your significant other the gift that keeps on giving and giving and giving and giving. And that's not an HIV joke. I'm telling you about give them the gift that you do every single night. Get them a GhostBed at ghostbed.com/ants. USA. Sorry. Was that a good ad read?
That was a great commercial. And then I felt like the lady from The Price is Right when I was showing you the bed. I was like,
that was good.
Yeah.
I'm going to go and buy a GhostBed right now.
You should.
Bro, they have been a supporter of me podcasting for almost 40 years. I did a Uvalde take on a network that I was on, and I lost an entire ad agency. And they have like thousands of advertisers under the one ad agency. So it's not like the particular brands left me. It's just the ad agency left me. And so I lost all those brands, even though a lot of those brands were conservative brands. And Ghostbed was still cool. They were like, no, hey man, like, as long as you're not like being mean or, like being like straight up, a racist or
derogatory, yeah.
Like, we've got you. We got your back. So Ghostbed has been a loyal sponsor, and as soon as we started this, they didn't know Anthony. We didn't have any numbers or analytics for the show. Typically, you need like 90 days for the analytics. I drove Ant. We went all the way to Fort Lauderdale, Florida, which is like 16 hours from here, and we popped in.
It was only an hour and a half from me though.
Yeah, 16.
You were
hours.
at my house.
Yeah, but I drove 13 hours to your house. Woke up the next morning and drove 3 hours to there, 2.5 hours, whatever it was. But so I made a 16-hour voyage to the Ghostbed, and they were literally like, "Oh, you guys have another show? We'll fund the entire show."
That's amazing.
Yeah,
that's amazing. That's a solid company right there. Because the other ones, what I have to say to that ad agency right now, and I'm just the guy from Canada, so they probably don't give a fuck, but I'm gonna say it anyway.
Oh, I guarantee
you're gonna bribe. You think you're gonna bribe me with money? Go fuck yourself.
Right.
Hashtag Elon Musk.
Hashtag Elon Musk.
You know what? I won't do anything for a company if they want me to say a certain thing for them. Like, it's usually if they back me and I've turned some down and I'm like, no, that's not a fit for me. Because I don't have a filter,
Absolutely. That's a very good point. And my beard used to be sponsored by a company. We're not going to discuss the company because fuck them. My beard used to be sponsored, and they sent me a message telling me how to basically do my content. No. I said, go fuck yourself. Bye.
No.
I lost another company. We won't use their name, but we were talking about Lori Lightfoot in Chicago back when she was fucking demonizing Chicago. And I was like, and it was a boner pill company. And so I was like, man, fucking Lori Lightfoot makes me soft, but it gets me hard, blank, blank, blank at blank.com. Because I said that, they fined me like $1,700. Like, I had to pay them $1,700 to like make it all go away. And it was like an FCC violation, I guess, because I used a politician's name and what they called the ad read. And I did. And I was doing a story on Lori Lightfoot, and I was just trying to transition to the actual ad read. And I was like, Lori Lightfoot makes us all soft, but it gets us hard. Blah, 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 blah.
I think
that's amazing, though. That you got to write ads. You should write ads for people.
I really should, dude. I have some pompous fucking ad reads.
I used to do. So I went to broadcasting school and all that shit too. But I used to actually do ad reads for different companies. I did like Foot Locker, a couple of other like Foot Locker, Adidas. It's just like when you're listening to the radio and it's like, hey, go to www.adidas.com to get your 50% off on da-da-da. And it was just like those type of commercials. It was pretty cool, actually. I don't do that anymore, though.
I actually enjoy doing ad reads. I don't do dynamic ad reads anymore because I enjoy doing the ad reads so much. And so anytime these companies want to partner, and like we just partnered with Factor Meals, I'm not going to do an ad read for them because they don't sponsor this particular show. But I think it's coming. I think they will. But man, I fucking love raging on those Factor Meal promos, man. I change it up every week. And I think our listeners stick around for the ad read because they want to know what kind of audacious shit I'm going to say during the ad read. I mean, I might throw in a Casey Anthony joke or, you know what I mean? Like a migrant joke.
OJ.
You're going to get, or a gay
Proud Dad. Berta Proud Dad, sponsored by Canadian maple syrup.
Oh, I need some Canadian maple syrup.
I can send you some, Ant. I can send you some.
Are you really?
I'll send you
Canadian maple syrup?
Fucking, am I sponsored by Canadian maple syrup?
Yeah.
Fucking
yeah.
no.
Oh, yeah, that would have been
fucking boss, dude.
I don't even think Canadian maple syrup is a brand. That's why I use that name, because I got in trouble a couple times by using a company name in something just as a joke, and I didn't realize it was a company name, right? And I'm not even close to like an influencer like Ant or anything like that. But at the end of the day, like I have a show too, right? And it gets a little bit of traffic, and people do listen to it, and then they go and write letters, right? And then it's like, hey, this guy mentioned you, and next thing you know, you're like, fuck, it was a joke. Like I didn't even fucking know you existed. For fuck's sakes, you make beaver pelt shoes. For fuck's sakes, like.
I do want to. I think I should take on a boner pill company. That would be cool.
No,
You should.
BlueChew.com/Wolfpack. I'll hit up Blue Chew and see if they want to get on there. Just stay hard like conservative ants. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Also, I was going to say something.
You know what's soft? Canadians. You know what's soft?
Canadians.
Say it, dude. I can't fucking say it. It's like the world won't let me say it. You know what's soft? Canadians. But you know what's hard? Conservative and BlueChew.com.
That's actually great. So I was telling Berta Proud Dad, what's your name?
Lawrence.
Do you not go by that?
Your name is Lawrence?
My name is Lawrence. With a W.
Canadian
name I've ever heard of in my life.
This is pretty Canadian. So we were talking about a little bit of my personal thing that I have going on right now. So I am about to embark on a 90-day body transformation. I just had my clinical everything, blood work done, and I'm about to be shredded in like 90 days.
Dude,
so
are you serious? About that. What the company is that?
Alpha Male Clinic. They take select people though, so I don't know that just Tom, Dick, and Harry.
I don't want that. Do they have beta male? Because I could apply for that one.
You might want to go to CNN for that. I don't think that this is called Alpha Male Clinic.
Can I go to a beta male clinic? Because I'm too alpha.
I want to learn how to be a pussy. Is there anybody around? Anyway,
you bro, I don't see a Lawrence. I see like a fucking like a Brad,
he's got.
I'm changing my name.
He's got like more big dick energy. He needs like Brad for sure.
Lawrence doesn't give me big dick energy.
Brad.
Yeah. Even the dog's like, I know that.
I want to.
My dogs are like, you just call my dad Brad, motherfucker.
Brad is definitely not a Canadian name, is it?
Brad, there's a lot of Brads here. There's not a lot of Lawrences, though. I will tell you that.
In my life, I've never met a Lawrence ever. Yeah. I didn't even know it's like other than movies, Lawrence.
There was a
and I can't have the Lawrence show, right? Like, hey,
no,
it's Lawrence.
Berta Proud Dad.
Berta Proud Dad. Yeah. And Berta would happen. So Alberta, right? Alberta. That's this province,
right, which is in Albuquerque.
Berta, Albuquerque. I can't even spell Albuquerque. Show my redneck.
Nobody can.
But Burton's, right? So Berta is the short form. That's what the rednecks here, right? We're Texas of Canada. You got to remember that. Berta Proud Dad is where it comes from. I get it all the time in my. Oh yeah, well, you know what I get though? You get these comments. I probably had over 1 million of them since I've been on social media. Beta Proud Dad.
Oh, of course.
Look at you, Beta Proud Dad.
Yeah.
I'll
show you how beta is when I'm bending you over and fucking you in the ass.
Oh my God.
Right? Yeah. They can go check out my OnlyFans and see how beta I really am.
Oh, what is that link? Can you please send that?
Oh, Berta Proud Dad on OnlyFans, bro.
Perfect. So I was going to say something else, and now my mind is on
OnlyFans.
Yeah.
I am.
Fuck. So Berta Proud Dad, Lawrence, would you ever come down to the United States and like do any collabs or anything?
Absolutely. My wife and I are going to come down to Florida. We're going to come see you. We're going to do some collabs. Now,
we're bringing the whole family.
Well, and then I'm going to sleep. Well, just me and her probably. We're going to sleep in your bed and test it.
Oh, you have to. It's a must.
Yeah, and then
make Anthony's bed straight again.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Well, this is the thing, though, right? My wife has always said to me, she's like, you know what? I'm going to get a gay best friend, and I'm like, well, I'm going to get a gay best friend too, and there I got one.
Dude, you guys are about to be bisexual. Like that's how that starts.
Wait, what?
Did you just say I'm going to be bisexual?
Yeah, that's how it all starts. Like you all,
It is. It does start that way.
You adopt a
But
gay
you know
friend,
what?
next thing you know, fucking having like weird three-ways, and Eiffel Towers, and all sorts of weird shit. Ask Will Smith.
My.
Ask Will Smith.
What?
Ask Will Smith. Ask Will Smith.
That's what happened. That's how it started with him.
Hey, guess what? Guess what? I bet you'd like to know because I would never say a word, so nobody would know. The world, it's like a Tootsie Pop. The world may never know.
Yeah, but I'll tell everybody.
Right, which is why I don't.
They
tell
would
you
know.
anything.
They would know because, like, I think honestly, I wouldn't be able to keep it a secret because
He would
it's
change
just the way
Berta
I am.
Proud Dad to Lawrence Show.
Yeah, no, yeah. It would just be like, yeah, last night, I was just fucking. It would just come out. It would come out on one of my podcasts. I'd be like, yeah, last night I was just fucking a dude, and then, shit.
Oh yeah. No, you can't do that, man. You got to be a little bit more. You got to see it. You have to waterboard me for shit to come out. But listen, and even then, I wanted. But he would come out in his hair. He would be like, "Hi guys, my name is Lawrence. Welcome to my page."
Just overnight.
So if anybody wants this, I have this roll cup here.
I'd be starting all my content with, "Hey, honeys and bunnies."
Hi, honeys and bunnies. Aunt Lawrence. Welcome to the Aunt Lawrence Show. Bum, bum, bum.
Oh god, I'm gonna kill myself. I'm gonna do it.
It's the ambiguously gay duo. Boom, boom, boom.
I'm gonna blow my brains all over this brick wall behind me. This faux brick wall. I'm just gonna blow my.
I must say, I appreciate you guys having me on. I've been on a lot of podcasts, and a lot of them are Canada, right? And this is probably the funnest podcast that I've ever been on, and the most realist podcast. So it's good to see this happen because that's how I try to do me too, right? Is just original fucking just guys talking. And people get a lot out of that. And I just appreciate you guys, giving me the time to come on here and be interviewed because that's fucking huge. And maybe I am a little bit more gay now. I don't know.
I mean, you've been touched. That can go in so many different ways. But you know what? Who knows? I mean, it is the end almost. So we need to make the best of it.
That's his brochure, eh?
That's my hook. Hold on, that's my hook, line, and sinker, bro. Someone that, and then they're like, "Fuck, dude, you're right. Let's fucking go."
Berta Proud Dad, how do we follow you? Is it at Berta Proud Dad on Instagram?
Berta Proud Dad. Yeah, Berta Proud Dad everywhere. Berta Proud Dad on Facebook, Instagram, all socials except TikTok because fuck TikTok, and I know other people like it.
Do you have your own podcast?
Yeah, I do. It's called the Berta Proud Dad Show. It's on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, all your major podcasts.
Do you ever have guests on your show?
I do, and we've been trying to get Conservative Ant on forever, except he told me
you don't want that guy. He's a fucking dick.
We got something going. Conservative. I do have guests. Anybody is interested in coming on this show?
I don't know if you know this about Anthony, but he's kind of gay. So.
That's what I heard.
Oh!
Wouldn't put him on the show, if you know what I mean. Wink, wink. No, dude, but if you ever want some rad kids on the show, my son Duke is 10 years old. All three of my sons are fully sponsored skateboarders. And but like if you wanted to talk about like if you want to have if you got like a dad type show, my 10-year-old absolutely fucking rages on a podcast.
He does.
Dude, podcasted with all like big celebrities. Ryan Sheckler went to Woodward with Ryan Sheckler. They've had like Rob Machado, Tim Pool. Are you familiar with Tim Pool?
Yeah.
They had my kids at Tim Pool's house, and Tim Pool just released a whole YouTube video about my kids.
That is awesome.
It's called the Tansy Boys on YouTube. Richie Jackson, all those guys. But anyway, just because you have a dad podcast, if you want to switch it up, throw my 10-year-old on for a show. He can hold his own, dude. He throws knives. He's a homeschooled kid. He kills squirrels. He knows how to. Bro.
Yeah, dude, his kids are dope.
They're fucking gnarly.
That's sweet. That's awesome.
But yeah, Conservative Ant, kid Ant on anytime. I'll pimp him out for you.
Absolutely.
But
I would love to have you on as well. You know what I mean? Like
no,
the thing is,
I'm not nearly as interesting. I'm just
I think you would be. I have some questions for you, but we'll do it another time.
just, well, hey,
I love that.
hey, and if he comes down to Florida, you guys got to let me know. I won't crash at your house, Anthony, but I'll crash close. Oh, you know what? Maybe we could get Alberta Proud Dad in on our big giant collab that we're going to do in the spring.
Oh, that would be great.
The ghost stuff, you know, when we do the big show.
Paranormal.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
the big paranormal thing. And we're trying to get a bunch of stuff together for that.
Have your people contact my people.
For sure. For sure.
I.e. us.
Yeah, i.e. I am everything. I'm a PR team. I'm everything.
I'm customer care. I'm human relations, human resources.
This is how I do it. Ashley, put
Yeah.
me on my email list. You're changing a diaper? After you get done, put my friends on the email list.
Hey, here's how I do it. Hey, babe, can you check that email that came in at conservative@gmail? Thank you.
And if there's any tit pics, I get to see them before you delete them.
I get so many tips. No more.
I bet you do. I
No more
bet you do.
Never the
That's
good
why-
ones. I only get tit pics. That's it.
Tit. That's it.
Well, guys, that's all for the show. If you want to reach out to us, send an unsolicited dick pic to @conservative and on Instagram. Unsolicited dick pic at conservative and we'll be doing a drawing in the new year to see who has the prettiest cock. Please send all unsolicited dick pics for the new dick challenge, conservative and Instagram. Dude, I hope that you get like 100 dick
I'm
pics.
just joking, Jimmy.
He's gonna get dick pics for the next fucking 60
I
days.
say tit. T-I-T. Pics.
I thought you said dick.
Use promo code DICKPIC at
Dude, my stomach hurts from laughing. Shut the fuck up. You suck, dude. It's so funny.
All right, guys. From myself, Conservative
Merry Christmas.
and the Alberta Proud Dad, this has been another Night Shift Top Secret Information. Stay awake, stay alert, stay alert.